In this video, I'm going to continue looking at the 2018 Giant bike lineup. I did one on cross-country bikes, another on trail. This one will focus on cyclocross and a little bit of road. And I just want to mention, like I did in one of the videos, I don't work for Giant. I'm not sponsored by Giant. I just have a lot of experience riding their bikes through my local bike shop, who is an authorized Giant dealer. So let's take a look at the cross bikes. So going over here to bikes and XRoad, looking at cyclocross. So for this year, I'm going to click on 2018. So for this year, you've got the Advanced Pro, the Advanced S, X, and then the TCX SLR. Let's look at the Advanced Pro. I actually have this bike. It is new for me, and I had the 2016, which had Shimano Ultegra Di2. What's interesting is no longer do you get the electronic shifting option. And I've seen that pattern in some other bike manufacturers that they've stopped offering electronic shifting in cyclocross bikes. The Giant's kind of done the same thing for 2018. I was a little apprehensive when I got this bike because I have never used SRAM shifting before on a road bike or cyclocross bike. I've only used Shimano, and Shimano is just second nature to me. But the SRAM Force CX1 component set that comes on this bike is excellent, and it only took me literally like 1 or 2 rides to get used to shifting it. And I'm going to actually make a separate video on what it's like to switch over from Shimano to SRAM. That's a lot of S's. But it was really not as big of a deal as I thought it would. But this is a really good value bike. It's a $3,700 cyclocross bike. It's got a full carbon frame and fork. And even though it's not listed on the website, I'm 99% positive these are carbon wheels, carbon rims. Again, it doesn't say it. It just says it comes with the Giant CXR1 wheel set. And they ride like carbon. They look like carbon. This bike did not come with the rim tape installed. You have to install it, so I imagine the other one's like that too. But the nice thing about this bike is it's got the SRAM Force, which is a dedicated 1x11 group set for cyclocross racing. So you've got a pretty good wide cassette in the back. You've got 1136. And that is a really good range, not only for cyclocross racing, but also for gravel riding, unless you're riding in really steep mountainous terrain. Then you're really going to need a 1x system. But I mean a 2x system. But for this 1x system, the roads that I mainly ride are fairly flat. And so I use this bike for cyclocross racing and for gravel riding, and it makes a great gravel bike. So it comes with 700 by 33C tires, but it can also fit at least 40C, probably bigger. So that's why I like this bike for gravel riding, because you can put bigger tires, and I run bigger tires in the off season. Again, really good value for a full carbon bike with carbon wheels and a really great group set. The nice thing about this bike is there's really nothing I would change, literally, other than replacing the tires with some bigger ones for gravel riding. I even put a power meter, a Stages power meter on this bike, and it's a phenomenal bike. This one is also a pretty good value, so for $1,100 cheaper, you get a lower end SRAM component group. Now, I don't know about the wheels. I doubt these are going to be carbon wheels. And so the PX2 disc, that's just a different wheel set. So it is not even listed. Well, it is listed as tubeless, so that's nice. And it also comes with the Schwalbe X1 tubeless wheels, or tires, I mean. So I would imagine you do have to install rim tape on this, as I did on the higher end TCX Advanced Pro 2 or Pro 1. But the Pro 2, I mean, again, full carbon frame, carbon fork, and a really decent 11-speed group set. So it's a 1x11 dedicated group set. So this is a great value, just going to be a little bit heavier than the Pro 2 and the Pro 1, but for $1,100, great value. So those are the cyclocross race bikes, which again make great gravel bikes. Now, if you are getting a bike dedicated just for gravel you probably want to look at this TCX Advanced SX. So the SX means that they just basically take the regular TCX and kind of beef it up a little bit for gravel riding. So you've got bigger tires. You've got the Maxxis Rambler tires, which is the exact tire I use on my regular TCX for gravel riding. Perfect tire for gravel riding. It's fairly plush at 40 Cs, so it's wider, more volume. And the bike also has a wider handlebar. So again, it's more geared towards gravel riding. It's going to be a little bit more comfortable than the regular cyclocross race bike. So you could also race this for cyclocross. There's no doubt about it. It too comes with SRAM shifting. This has a bigger cassette. So if you're focusing mainly on gravel, on cyclocross races that you don't have long extended climbs like you would encounter on a gravel ride, so this one has a wider cassette. So again, this bike is just geared more towards gravel. Like I said, you could race this for cyclocross. Nothing would hold you back from doing that. What's interesting to me is, it says it's a 1x system. So if you look at the crankset, it just says 1X, but in the photo, you see 2 chain rings. So I'm going to go from the specs listed below that it is truly a 1x11 system, not 2x11. And by the way, if you're not familiar with these bikes, they come with water bottle mounts, both on the TCX SX and the regular TCX. So they come with 2 sets of water bottle mounts. Several years ago, you could only get one on a lot of these cross bikes, but now you can get 2, which again just makes these bikes very versatile. These are not that much different from each other, just the wider bars here, bigger range in the cassette, and of course the tires are bigger. And then there is just one model offered in the aluminum cyclocross bike for 2018, but again, this is a great value. Now, this does come with a 2x system. So this too would make a great gravel bike if you just put some bigger tires on it. I mean, you could run 35C tires for gravel riding, but 40C is going to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more stable. But Shimano 105, good solid group set. Now this does come with an 11-speed cassette, so an 1132 in the back, and the crankset, it's a 3646. So this has more gear range than the carbon cyclocross bike. So if it were me and I were going to focus on gravel riding and I didn't need a lightweight stiff carbon bike, this would be a great choice. So that's it for what Giant considers their kind of higher end gravel and cyclocross bikes. I'm looking here at the Revolt, and I just want to point out that this is not even offered for 2018. So if you go to bikes, this is under the endurance category under XRoad. And again, just pointing out that they don't offer that for 2018. One more category I want to look at is the adventure bikes. And this also is listed under the XRoad category. And let's just filter this for 2018 since that's the purpose of this video. I don't have any experience riding these bikes, the XRoad or the Tough Road, but it looks like a bike that's kind of between a road bike and a gravel bike. It does not have as big of tires as you see on the SX, the TCX SX, or even the TCX. So it's got a little bit narrow tires, 30C tires. Shimano 105, so a pretty decent group set. It does come with a 2x front chainring. So this would be a bike that is probably geared a little bit more towards road, rough road, and a little bit towards gravel. So a very versatile bike. The Advance, of course, means that it's carbon. And so it looks pretty comfortable. I would imagine Giant builds this frame so it's not overly stiff. But again, I don't have any experience riding it. I just want to point it out that this would be a good option for someone who, like I said, a real healthy mix of road and gravel road. I would not take this on a trail. The tires just aren't going to be beefy enough or wide enough or even enough tread to take on trails. And I will mention that I do take my TCX, my cross bike, on trails sometimes. It's not real comfortable. It's kind of hard to ride on trails, but it's a good workout and it's good for handling skills. A couple more bikes I want to point out in this category. Of course, they offer the XRoad in aluminum model. At less than $1,000, it's a pretty good deal. It's probably not going to be extremely light. Not a competitive bike, but a very versatile one. And then you have the XRoad, which I think this would be a really sweet commuter bike. I like flat bar commuter bikes for more in-town type riding. I've had several of these in the past. So as opposed to the dropper type bars that you get on the XRoad or the cross bikes, these are a flat bar, and it really makes these bikes agile, zipping through traffic and things like that. And again, this would be a commuter style, especially if your roads are pretty rough, because it has some pretty big tires on it. So let's look at the specs of the XRoad. And if you look at the tires, it's got a 700 by 50C tire, the giant crosscut gravel tube tire. So this is just a bike that you can take anywhere. You could probably even put some thinner mountain bike tires, 29er mountain bike tires on this, because by the way, 29er tires will fit on a 700 rim. So again, versatile, fun, great commuter. Just kind of, if you want a bicycle to just get around, this would be my choice. Now, if you look at the Roam, I like this style of bike, but I don't necessarily like a suspension fork on this style of bike. I just don't think you need it. This is a great commuter bike, and I've had a specialized kind of this bike and like a Janus at one point, and I really like this style. But if you look at the spec, Shimano Deore, this is a decent, just kind of all-around town bike. You may like the suspension fork. I just don't think it has enough travel to really make it worth it. But it will add a little bit of plushness to it. So decently wide tires. This is a bike that you could take off-road for a very light off-road, not real rocky or rooty, gravel roads and paved roads. So that's kind of the XRoad category. I'll wrap up this video by taking a super quick peek at the road bikes. I'm mainly focusing on dirt for this video series, but if we look at all the road bikes, again, we'll filter it for 2018. The only thing that I really will point out here, if you're not familiar with giant road bikes, the Advanced SL is their highest end carbon, and then you've got the Advanced. And to me, this bike right here is a really great value if you want to get into road biking. You want a carbon frame, but you just kind of want to get your feet wet in road biking. This is a great value. The Pro, the TCX Advanced Pro, is going to have nicer components. What's really cool about these too is they are tubeless wheels. So tubeless is coming over to the road, and Giant has fully adopted it. So if you look at the rims here, tubeless, and the tires are tubeless. So 700 by 25C tire, that's a really good width for a tire. And being tubeless, it's going to roll really smooth. This particular bike has Shimano Ultegra. For $3,250, that's quite a value. That's about as high as I would ever go for a road bike. I'm not a road racer. I don't even ride on the road that much. What I do, I'm on my cross bike. So I wouldn't go up to the SL. And the SL is going to be lighter. It's going to be a carbon that's probably a little bit stiffer, maybe even built a little bit more comfortable, but it's definitely lighter than the regular Advanced carbon. And what's also cool is you can get these in a disc version. So not only is tubeless hitting the road scene, you're also getting disc brakes hitting the road scene. A little bit more expensive. I won't really go into the advantages or disadvantages of disc brakes on a road bike, but kind of cool that they offer. So again, I just want to take a really quick look at the giant road bikes without going too much into those. I mainly focus on dirt. So that's going to wrap up this third video in my series of looking at the 2018 giant bikes. If you have any questions or comments about these bikes, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.